CNN, and I quote, that their strategy as we go into New York and Pennsylvania, I guess, is, quote, disqualify him, defeat him, and unify the party later. Now, you know, as I have said a million times, I have desired and I have run an issue-oriented campaign. Now, it's hard, as we can see here, the media is not particularly interested about why the middle class declines, about wage and income disparity. That's not what you're interested in. But we have tried in rally after rally, and many of you have been there, to talk about the most important issues facing the American people. But if Secretary Clinton thinks, you know, that just because I'm from a small state in Vermont, and we're going to come here to New York and go here to Pennsylvania, and they're going to beat us up and they're going to go after us in some kind of really uncalled for way, that we're not going to fight back, well, we got another, you know, they can guess again, because that's not the case. This campaign will fight back. So when you have headlines in the Washington Post, quote, Clinton questions whether Sanders is qualified to be president, my response is, well, you know, if you want to question my qualifications, let me suggest this, that maybe the American people might wonder about your qualifications, Madam Secretary, when you voted for the war in Iraq, the most disastrous foreign policy blunder in the modern history of America. People might want to wonder about your qualifications when you supported virtually every trade agreement. Trade agreements which have cost the American worker millions of decent paying jobs. And the American people might want to wonder about your qualifications when you're spending an enormous amount of time raising money for your super PAC from some of the wealthiest people in this country and from the most outrageous special interest. I don't think I have to explain to the American people what Wall Street did to this economy, and yet in our last filing report for her major super PAC, one of several, she raised $15 million from Wall Street. Are you qualified to be president of the United States when you're raising millions of dollars from Wall Street, an entity whose greed, recklessness, and illegal behavior helped destroy our economy? So look, let me be clear, this is not the type of politics that I want to get in. I know it's what the media loves. It is not the type of politics that I want to get in. But let me also be very clear. If Secretary Clinton thinks that I just come from the small state of Vermont, we're not used to this, well, we will get used to it fast. I'm not going to get beaten up. I'm not going to get lied about. We will fight back. But I do hope that we can raise the level, and I do hope that now and then the media will choose to talk about real issues. You got a real issue, Nancy? What do you got?
Just to clarify, if you think she's not qualified,
no, what I am saying, did you hear what I just said is that she has attacked me for being unqualified. And if I'm going to be attacked for being unqualified, I will respond in kind. So I would hope that we can get away from this. I do have respect for Secretary Clinton. I don't know who in a campaign comes up with these brilliant ideas. But all that I'm saying is I am not going to go into New York. You know, I know that they are getting nervous. They've lost 7 out of the last 8 caucuses and primaries, and I know every day they develop a new approach to the campaign. I gather their approach is again, this is a quote from CNN. Quote, disqualify him, defeat him, and unify the party later. That sounds to me like they're ready to run a very negative campaign. That is not what I want to do. I don't want to do that. But if we are going to be attacked, and my qualifications for president after being in the Congress for 25 years, supporting working people throughout my entire career, standing up to virtually every special interest in this country, they're going to question my qualifications. I think I have a right to question theirs. Thank you all very, very much. And guys, thank you very much for the fight you're raising.
Well, it sounds like Bernie said, I'm taking the goddamn gloves off and let's go.
I want to just pick up where we left the conversation there. Again, using that term, he said it again this morning, he said it last night, Bernie Sanders did, unqualified. That seems to take the criticisms of Hillary Clinton to a new level where it's not just a mere disagreement, it's not just a mere, I don't think it's right to do things this way, I would do things that way. He's saying, not qualified to be president of the United States. That doesn't sound like somebody he could support for that office ever.
Well, as he said, he will support the eventual nominee of the Democratic Party. He's been quite clear on that, and that is that is certainly what he will do. But let's be clear. These are two very different campaigns, two very different candidates, two very different agendas for America. You can just look at how their campaigns are funded. His campaign is funded with small donations from millions of people across this country. Secretary Clinton is funded by Wall Street interests and other special interests. You know, she's really made a deal with the devil, and the devil always wants his due. So that time will come. But I mean, if you look just yesterday, they had a big fundraiser. It was what I call a revolving door fundraiser. It was all kinds of people who had worked in government who now work for big special interests, Wall Street special interests, who were, you know, raising money for Secretary Clinton. Those people aren't doing that for nothing.
Has she run a fair campaign?
No, in many ways their campaign has not been fair. You know, there's been a lot of innuendo and subtle attacks, but you know, they really started to step them up. And as Senator Sanders just said to the media in the clip you ran, he's not going to take it. You know, he is the son of Brooklyn, born in New York. He knows how to the rough and tumble of New York, and if that's the kind of campaign they want to run, he's fully prepared to run it. You know, he has run an issue-oriented campaign. There are obviously big differences between the two candidates on issues of war and peace, on issues of trade, on issues of income inequality and taking on Wall Street and special interests and a corrupt campaign finance system. So there are big substantive differences, and we're happy to talk about those substantive differences. But if the Clinton campaign wants to engage in a more bare-knuckled kind of approach, we're happy to do that as well.
All right, Jeff Weaver, Bernie Sanders' campaign manager, thanks for joining us this morning. Appreciate that.
All right, so the gloves are officially off. So this is New York, and warfare is not warfare until you've battled in New York.